The Hangout on air is live. All right. It says we're live. I hope some people are out here. Let's see if we can figure out who's here. Let me see. We're still... Okay. All right. So we are here. There's people here. Okay. All right, guys. Can you hear me? I got the chat box up. So if you're still in the webinar, please just let me know that you're still there. I apologize. We had some technical difficulties, but we are up and running now. We're ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started so we can keep within our time and be mindful that you guys have so many other things to do on a Tuesday evening, so we want to make sure that we go ahead and get this thing started. First, I want to say welcome. Thank you again for everyone coming in. And myself is playing back. Okay. I hear myself playing back into my own ears, so okay, I'll take this out. How am I going to hear her? Okay, Mariam, are you still there?
I am, yes.
Mariam, are you there? First, I want to say welcome. Thank you again for everyone coming in.
Tamara, yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So there's going to be a few seconds time delay when we talk, so you guys just bear with us, and we'll be sure to keep this going. Back into my own ears. So first off, I just want to say to everyone in 30 for 30, thank you so much for being a part of this organization, this community. We're just trying to build a community about health and around wellness. So we just are so grateful that you would support us and support our website and support our Facebook page. And I'm so excited to have my nutritionist and health coach on with us today to talk about so many things that have helped me along the way. I also want to congratulate everyone that came along the ride for April for the 30 days of fitness, 30 days of exercise from April 1st to April 30th. That was the first time I can say in my life that I have done something like that, to work out every single day, and it was so rewarding. And I want to just thank you all that came along with me, all your posts, all the inspiration that you provided all across the nation. People were participating in 30 for 30, so we're just so happy that you're along this road with us. And the next event will be coming up in June 1st through June 30th, another 30 days. Yes, another 30 days. Every month that has 30 days, we're going to go for it. We're going to go hard for those 30 days and get fit and be exercising and be active for 30 minutes for 30 days. So we'll start again in June 1st. And I'd love to know from you guys if you are interested in t-shirts like 30 for 30 mission accomplished or 30 for 30 mission accepted, something like that. We're thinking, just to kind of keep us all motivated, put our t-shirts on and go out there and get active. So if you're interested in something like that, please comment below, and we'd love to know about that. So let's go ahead and get right in. One of the first questions that we got, or that I got, was talking about my story and how I got started, or how I got healthier. And our guest today has a big part in that. Mariam Bandarian, my nutritionist and health coach, has a big part in that. I'm going to bring her on. She'll be talking for the majority of the webinar. But about 8 months ago now, I decided I needed to get healthier. I was overweight. I had high cholesterol. Didn't feel good in my own body. It was hard for me to even bend down and strap up, strappy shoes. And those of you who know me know how much I love to wear high heel shoes, and couldn't wear high heel shoes that had straps because it was just too much stuff going on, too much excess. And I decided I needed to lose weight, and went to my doctor, and he of course agreed that I needed to lose weight. And through a program that he had in his doctor's office, and introducing me to Mariam with the weekly coaching sessions that she provided me, and going over foods and helping me to understand, how to eat real food that doesn't come out of a box, or that's not processed, just real food, and appreciating the perimeter of the grocery store and those kinds of things, and also understanding what I feel like after I eat, because I feel so much differently now the way I eat than I did then. I don't feel weighed down or like I want to take a nap after I finish eating. So it's just been a great ride for me, and was able to lose 30 pounds in 15 weeks. So really excited about that. My husband lost weight too. So we have really changed our life and are on the road to staying fit and healthy every day, and want to encourage other people to do the same. So let me read a little bit about Mariam, my nutritionist. I'm just going to read her bio to you guys. Mariam Bandarian is a certified health coach and nutritionist. Her passion is to help women get healthy, lose weight, and get inspired to show off their best bodies now. I want that. I want my best body now. Her philosophy is to teach women how to develop a love affair with real food and learn how to eat for health, beauty, and energy. Mariam believes that eating food should be fun, nutritious, and adventurous. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Nutrition Science from Kaplan University. Then, after completing her formal education, she went on to receive advanced certification training from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And there she was trained in more than 100 dietary theories and studied a variety of practical lifestyle coaching methods. Drawing on this knowledge, Mariam will help to create a completely personalized roadmap to health that suits your unique body, lifestyle preferences, and goals. So, hi, Mariam. How are you this evening?
Hi, Tamara. Thank you. How are you?
I am feeling really great. Thank you so much for your patience with the technical issues that we were going through. I really appreciate you agreeing to do this tonight for free, because I know you're very busy with all your clients, so really appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you, Tamara. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I know you have prepared a wonderful agenda for everyone, so I can't wait to get started.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to ask you is, I guess in layman's term, I read your bio and everything, but just for people who are still not familiar with what nutritionists and health coaches do, what exactly would you describe, what you do? How would you describe it?
Sure. Well, nutritionists, I would say, are a food coach. We have extensive knowledge about nutrition, how it impacts people, and how it prevents or helps certain health issues. We work with people to help them overcome any dietary issue that they're having and prevent them from, the typical diseases out there right now. We believe in bio-individuality, meaning every single person is different and unique, and no set of dietary principles belongs to every person. So we help each person, depending on their lifestyle, culture, habits, develop a healthy lifestyle for themselves. We also believe in primary foods, basically meaning that you can eat all the green vegetables you want, but if you don't have other aspects in your life balanced, then you will get sick. So we believe in trying to find ways to balance your career, your lifestyle, personal life, finances, relationships, spiritual life. So we kind of work we work with all of those areas and help people be healthy and live a well life. Everything from pretty much we can help you with supermarket chores. We can come in and clean out your pantry. Talk about the ABCs of nutrition, do food demos, and so on and so forth. There's so much that we can help you.
Absolutely. I know your wealth of knowledge. Whenever I've had questions when we meet, now we only meet monthly. I miss seeing you every week, but we only meet monthly, and you always have so many questions. Corlandos and I go to the grocery store now, and he's got me a few times like, would Mariam approve of that? And I'm like, geez, dude, back off. So we're definitely trying to stay your path, but I just want to get into, because I know you have so much to say and there's so many questions we've gotten, so I'm going to dive right into some of the other questions. But first off, what made you want to become a nutritionist and health coach?
That's a great question. I've always wanted to help people, and I just felt like there was really a void in health. And I felt that if you help people, if you coach them, and you give them the right tools, everybody can lead a healthy lifestyle. I truly believe that we pretty much have the power to take control of our health, and with just making a few little changes each day, we can truly become healthier and happier people. And I just want people to live their life now, enjoy your life as you are, be happy with where you are, but grow spiritually, emotionally, and through a wellness. So that's the reasons why. Yes.
I love that. That's the best thing you said, was take control of our health. I think that is so absolutely true, that we can take control of our health and our fitness, and there's so much in our hands that we relinquish and think that we don't have control over. But thank God for people like you that are skilled enough to help us understand that if we just put the right foods in our bodies, that we can live healthy. So let's go ahead and get into some of the questions. One of the questions that we got was from a young lady, and she says, I wanted to know what type of foods or diet is best for a person with hypothyroidism. And she says, I mean, the level where there is excessive weight. So I'm thinking she's gaining excessive weight. Just kind of on a high level, Mariam, what would you say toward this question?
You know, I would always advise the person to speak with their primary doctor first. Nutritionists and health coaches never replace the primary doctor. We work hand in hand with them. But after speaking with the doctor, there are a few things that you can do to speed up your thyroid and make sure that you are losing weight. Number one is reduce stress. Continue eating leafy vegetables. Lay off the kale for a little bit. Try to switch around your veggies. Don't get stuck eating the same leafy green over and over again. And just eat a diet high in omega-3 fatty acids, a little bit of calcium and vitamin C, and that should really help.
Great. Omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, vitamin C, green veggies. Love it. Okay. The next question is from a young lady. She says she personally feels like she doesn't have bowel movements regularly enough. And she says no matter what she eats or drinks, as many fruits or veggies, high fiber foods, and of course she drinks water, she still finds that there's an issue. So she wants to know, what would you say about that? Should she keep pursuing, trying to see what she can do, or is this just her body composition?
If she isn't having issues with constipation, so if that's not the issue, if she's wondering, is she regular enough, I would say that everyone's bowels are unique to them. And what's normal for one person may not be normal for another. Someone might go twice a day, someone might go once a day, and someone might go once every 3 days. As long as it doesn't feel like it's troubling some, as long as it doesn't feel like it's constipation, and if they're trying everything in their power, for example, if they are getting maybe 20 to 35 grams of soluble and insoluble fiber, if they are having the water like they mentioned they are and exercising, then they should be fine. Again, whatever, if you found that that's just your pattern and you've always been like that, then just it's normal. It's whatever it is for your body. But if it's something that just happened, maybe look at your medications and look at your stress levels and other things. Sure.
Okay, I love it. I love that. That's a great question. I think that's probably good for a lot of people to know that you said, everybody's bowels are unique. So if you just want to be aware of constipation, that's awesome. So let's look at the next question. And this one is near and dear to my heart because I'm always trying to figure out different ways to keep the sugar down. So this person says that there has been a lot of talk of late about sugar being bad for you. It seems impossible to avoid sugar. So what are some tips to help me cut my sugar intake?
Great observation. Sugar is kind of a battle. It's something that's in the news and in magazines everywhere now. But it is kind of an addictive thing. So once you realize the amount of processed sugar and artificial sweeteners you are having in your diet, then the first step's awareness. Step number 2 is pretty much reading labels. If you're going to pick up an item at the grocery store, and if you notice the first, second, or even the third ingredient is a sugar product, avoid that. Don't pick that up because you already have enough sugar in your diet as it is. If you're baking, for example, if the recipe calls for a certain amount of sugar, cut that in half. Try using raw honey or liquid stevia. Avoid at all costs artificial sweeteners like Splenda, aspartame, and Equal. Those are horrible. And also, if you have a sugar craving, it's okay, but there's natural things that you can do. For example, freeze some grapes. Keep a bunch of grapes in your freezer, pop a few in your mouth, and those are nature's candy. It really helps to balance sugar cravings. Same thing with frozen bananas. Just slice up a few bananas and have those. There's so many things you can do. If you love to have the taste of sugar, turn to natural fruits. They are the best sweetener that you can have. For example, I have a vegan ice cream recipe on my blog that only uses 2 ingredients, and it is the most satisfying amount, sugar taste that you can have, but it's using 2 natural fruits, and that's it. You can easily make up your own recipes. And just know that if you are trying to detox from sugar, you will have some withdrawal issues. So just be prepared for 1 or 3 days of just detoxing, but just know that after a week or so, you will not have the same sugar cravings. It can be done.
That's a good tip. You're going to have to kind of go through the process. It's probably going to be a little, not painful, but, it's going to be a little uncomfortable. I remember those days. I remember the first week I was on our new diet and eating plan. It was bound about that 4th day. I was ready to hurt somebody. So it was tough, but liquid stevia is my new best friend. I love that stuff, and I wouldn't have known about it if it weren't for you. But it reminds me, something you said was, one time on another diet many moons ago, because I was a diet person. Now I'm just over that. I'm just about eating healthy now. But remembering, the thing was to find a cereal that didn't have sugar in the first 5 ingredients. And I was in the cereal aisle forever. And you can't. There was only one I found. I think it was like a Special K Protein Plus cereal was the only one that didn't have any form of sugar in the first 5 ingredients. And so it just really opened my eyes to the fact, even back then, that this may be not the best choice of breakfast for me, because all this stuff is full of sugar. So just a little tidbit there. I'm not the nutritionist or the health coach, but you get that for free, guys. So anyway, we'll move on to the next question, and this one is really good too. They say, how do you best eat clean on a small food budget? And then, 2-part question, also, what foods are best with detoxing the body?
Wonderful. That's another great question. You can definitely eat healthy on a smaller budget. There are so many things you can do. Number 1, I would say try to buy fresh fruits and vegetables, whatever is on sale that week. Also, you don't have to buy everything. Some people are scared that if they purchase organic, it's gonna, take over their budget. So you can use the Dirty Dozen list and just pick the vegetables and fruits that you buy often. Use those as organic, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But you can also buy frozen fruits and vegetables. These are amazing for smoothies and for stir fries. Frozen fruits and vegetables cost a lot less, so they're very inexpensive compared to fresh ones, but the great thing is they contain all of the same nutrients. So you are really not losing any nutrients if you buy frozen. Also, you can buy grains, nuts, and seeds in bulk in the large barrels instead of small packages. Another thing would be, please try to meal plan and make a shopping list. That way you only pick up the things that you need during that week. Also, never, ever, ever, I tell my clients all the time, never go to a store hungry, so that you avoid purchasing all these extras and justifying them. And another thing, if you have a backyard, look into growing some crops. That is the newest trend. It's so therapeutic. So if you have the space, maybe try growing a little bit of your herbs and some vegetables.
Wow, I don't have a green thumb, so I'm gonna leave that to someone else. But but I love those suggestions that you give. Definitely, I've been guilty of going to the grocery store hungry, and that doesn't ever work out for healthy foods at all. It turns out bad. But I love what you said about buying what's on sale, especially if you have a smaller budget. Just really focusing around that and being creative. I think what I've learned through this is you've got to be really creative. The things that your go-to meals probably, are not going to be your go-to meals anymore. And looking at the produce and looking at what's available that week will make you be a little bit more creative about what you're going to make for your family. So I think that's great. And did we talk about the detox one?
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay, detox.
Detox is one of my favorite topics. I love to learn and recommend foods to help people detox. You know, our body's naturally meant to detox on its own. So as long as you drink adequate water, your body should be detoxing. But you can always boost your detox system by eating some of these foods. Whenever you're trying to detox, try to incorporate that food several times during the week. So, for example, I would say include these foods maybe 3 to 4 times a week. Number one thing that I love, and again, this works really well in any budget, it's not expensive, is cabbage. Cabbage is great for detox, helps with fine lines and, you know, crow's feet. These are, when people have these, it's a sign of high cortisol levels, which means stress. High cortisol pretty much breaks down our skin and causes wrinkles a lot faster. So having cabbage during the week is a great add-on to your diet. I would say pick purple cabbage. It has about, I would say, 8 times more vitamin C than green cabbage. You can do so many things with it, and it's pretty much 80% of your daily needs for vitamin C as well. Another thing would be adding beets to your diet. You can, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about juicing as well. So all of these foods kind of work well with juicing. You can easily throw in some cabbage in your juicing. Also, beets are wonderful. They're such a great detox food. Beets help with brightening dull eyes, and they really help flush out your lymphatic system. When you flush out your lymphatic system, you create youthful and clear the whites of your eyes. Beets are also really high in iron, and they contain lots of antioxidants to support a healthy liver. Also, beets are nature's colon cleanser, so if you feel like you are a little backed up and congested, maybe look into having more beets in your diet. Another one I would say would be cilantro. Cilantro is amazing for removing heavy metals out of your system. Great for people who have cellulite and want to kind of help hide that. Again, throw it in your smoothie or your juice. Next thing would be walnuts. Walnuts are amazing. They're such a healthy fat for creating supple and tender, soft skin. So try to incorporate walnuts into your diet. And all, you know, little things, lemons as well. So lemons and cucumbers, just natural foods, and you will help your body detox on its own.
Oh, wow. I'm taking notes, but okay, so cabbage gets rid of fine lines and crow's feet. Okay, yeah. I'm going to eat that stuff every night. I'm on cabbage. I'm going to be eating some serious cabbage. That's awesome. And thank you for all the stuff you said about beets, because I've heard beets are good for you, but I've kind of shied away from beets. Because even like as a child, I didn't like beets, but as an adult, I really need to try them again because it's been several years. So, you know, your palate changes. So I need to try them because that's a really lot of things that you said and how they benefit you, and bright eyes and colon cleanser. That's really awesome. I love what you said about cilantro, all this good stuff with the cellulite. You had me at cellulite, so I'm on this. This is really good stuff. And some of this stuff you've told me before, but I'm just writing it over and taking notes. I hope everybody out there is taking notes because this is some really good free information that she's giving you. So moving to the next question, this person says, how do you avoid or balance carb intake when you're juicing?
That's actually really a great question as well. These are all great questions, but when you're juicing, you want to focus more on getting greens. Why? Because we don't get enough greens in our diet. So you never want to juice 2 or 3 fruits. That's just going to break down the sugars so quickly, and you're going to absorb those sugars in your bloodstream, and that's never a good thing. You want to do maybe, let's say, 3 to 4 different veggies and add 1 specific fruit, 1 serving. I always use either green apples because they make the juice taste so nice, and so it's like a softer taste. Also, I recommend maybe throwing a few grapes. If you're making a smoothie, which is another amazing thing you can do, you can add some bananas. So focus more on the veggies. Just do 1 serving of fruit.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I appreciate that because it's easy to juice the fruits because it does make it really tastes good. And I'll just say my quick juicing story. From your blog, I wasn't feeling very well a couple weeks ago, had a little cold that turned into a sinus infection, and on your blog you had put a juicing recipe about a juice that kind of is a natural, like, I guess, what did you say, like it kills bacteria or something?
Yeah,
And
it's like a flu fighter.
yeah, flu fighter, that's what you called it. So I drank that juice. I juiced it and drank it for like 3 or 4 days. First of all, it was hard to get through, but I threw an apple in there, but turmeric and ginger, those kinds of things I hadn't really ever juiced before, and it was spicy, but it felt great. After I drank it, I really felt really great, and just that I'm doing something really natural for my body, and chose to opt out of the antibiotics and just go with the juices. And look at me, I'm totally fine. I'm healthy. So it was really good. I really appreciate that you had that on your blog. So we're gonna take our last question. Oh, Mariam, just so you know, my husband Corlandos is on chat, and he's saying, does this mean, we were talking about sugar earlier, and he said, does it mean he has to give up strawberry cheesecake? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Mariam says yes. You need to back up off the strawberry cheesecake, my friend. So he already knows the answer to that. But anyway, one more question before we go to Mariam has done some really great slides for us. We're talking about May being our May meal planning month, and she just kind of has given us some parameters and some rules as we approach putting our meals together. So I'm going to go to those slides in a second, but one more question. This person says they've heard a lot of mixed messages about how many times a day should you eat. Should you eat 6 small meals, or should you eat 3 small meals, because she's concerned about keeping her metabolism going?
Okay. When it comes to how many meals you should eat in a day, again, you have to look at your own body and your lifestyle. So just listen to your body. If you like to eat 3 main meals, then do that. If you like to eat 6 smaller meals, and if that works with your schedule, as long as you're not missing meals, you're on the right track. Your metabolism will not slow down unless you become dehydrated, stop exercising. So as long as you eat foods rich in vitamins, minerals, some healthy fats, and some fiber, then you'll continually keep your metabolism going.
I love that. I love that. I've never heard that before, because you always hear you have to eat, you have to eat, you have to eat. But you're just saying, because I drink a lot more water now than I used to. But, drinking water I've always heard is helpful as well, correct? And
absolutely. Water definitely will get things moving.
Yeah, okay. That's good to know. So do whatever you feel, because me personally, it's been hard. I've never been able to fit in, with life. It's hard to fit in 6 times a day eating. That's just like way too much. But I see what works for me has been 3 meals and maybe a snack. That's worked for me really well. So anyway, I'm keeping the weight off, so I'm going to stay with what's working for me. So thanks for that advice, Mariam. So right now, I'm going to share my screen with the slides that Mariam has given us. Again, it's May Meal Month. So what we're going to do is she's given us some parameters on how to be the most healthy and what foods that we should have to be healthy. So let me get this screen changed over here. Let's see and share that with you guys. And everyone who's in the chat room, if you'll just let me know when you see it, that will really help me out. And I'm going to keep talking because I need to move my slides back to slide number 1. So, Mariam, your first slide is that we need to eat real food. Would you please tell us, explain what do you mean by that?
Absolutely. So what I mean by eating real foods is very simple. The rules around eating real food, basically read all of the ingredients in your pantry. If you have herbs and spices and things like that, if you can't pronounce a few of the ingredients, then either give it out or toss it out. You never want to keep things in your house that you can't even pronounce the ingredients. Number 2 would be fill your cart with lots of single ingredient vegetables and items. For example, carrots, bananas, eggs, apples, nuts, seeds. 2/3 of your grocery cart should be filled with single ingredient foods. And step 3 would be add at least 1 single ingredient food at every meal. That's how you're going to start creating a healthy, balanced diet. For example, add a banana or blueberries to your breakfast cereal. If you're having yogurt, add some fruit. Add some chia seeds. Add whole single ingredients. If you're having eggs, add some green beans or some tomatoes or some onions. So that's kind of what I mean by eating real food. Once you start doing that at every single meal, you'll realize that you have replaced a lot of boxed food, and now you're eating real foods.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And one thing I learned, and I guess I'll throw a tip out to you guys, maybe as you're going through this, it won't be a problem for you, but when I started eating more real foods and going to the grocery store, I still had the box food mentality, so I would buy so much stuff, and Corlandos and I couldn't even get through all of it, so it was going bad, and I'm like, oh my God, my food is going bad. So, just kind of brace yourself, because if this is new for you, you may not want to buy a whole big, huge thing of onions because you may not get through them for the week, and then you'll feel like you're wasting money and you don't want to get discouraged. So that happened to me a couple times, so just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
So our second rule is, rule number 2 is avoid buying and eating foods with high levels of pesticide residue. And I also put a link for those of you who can see the slide. There's a link to Mariam's blog where she talks about the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So break this down for us, Mariam.
Okay, so I hope this doesn't scare people away. I will be mentioning organic food, but organic food on a budget. I know a lot of people are nervous when they hear the word organic. Basically, when it comes to buying foods that have low levels of pesticides, it's very crucial. To get the complete list, again, I have it on my blog. You can definitely look at the list there. But just a quick, if you don't have the list with you, if you're at the grocery store, kind of know your codes. Organic produces are labeled with a small sticker, and anything beginning with the number 9 means that it's organic. Conventional and non-organic produce begins with the number 4. So if you see a number 4, that means, it's just conventionally grown. Anything with a 9 is organic. Also, we use pesticides in the U.S. to control, to destroy, repel, and attack pests. We pretty much use about 1 billion pounds of pesticides per year. Each individual person consumes 3 pounds of that billion. So there are about 107 ingredients in pesticides, and they're identified as carcinogens, nerve toxins, and poisons. This is one of the reasons that I tell people try to pick organic foods. You don't have to purchase everything organic, just the ones that are very dirty on the Dirty Dozen. Pick those. Everything else has less pesticide residue, and you don't have to worry about.
Okay, very good. I'm still working on that one, Mariam. I have to admit, the eating all organic or switching to organic, I'm still working on that. So your blog post really helped me to bring that back into perspective, that I need to do better with that one. So let's move on to rule number 3. You say change your meat quality or eat less of it. Less meat? What's up?
Yeah, I know. Here's another shocker, right? But if you eat a lot of meat, sometimes when I ask my clients, what are you going to have for dinner? They'll say chicken, fish, steak. They never mention anything else except everything kind of revolves around the meat. So here's what I say. If your diet focuses, basically if your meals focus around meat, try to get the best quality of that meat. The sad truth is, and this is kind of a shocker, same thing goes for dairy. Meats and dairies ages. You can be spending hundreds of dollars on wrinkle creams, but if you're eating lots of meat and lots of dairy, you are aging yourself. Why? Because meat nowadays is full of growth hormones. These growth hormones essentially accelerate the growth of the animal in order to make profits. In fact, I have another blog post about a week ago that I just wrote about this. Back in the day, we would let our cows mature to age 4 or 5 before slaughtering them. Now we've got the science down to 11 to 14 months, thanks to the use of growth hormones and GMO corn. So imagine if these cows and these cattle and everything, if they are growing at accelerated rates, that hormone is stuck in their muscle, and when we eat a piece of meat, or we have milk or any other dairy that had growth hormones, we're basically accelerating our age as well, because we are what we eat. So if you want to be young, stay away from, stay away from meat that's treated with growth hormones.
Oh my Lord, growth hormones in my meat. I don't want to be old from eating meat. That's a good tip. A good tip. I love it. Okay, so some vegetarian options you talked about. Vegetarian protein options are, I'm just showing them the slide, beans, nuts and seeds, and also you talk about vegetable protein, which is spinach and broccoli, which I didn't know. So these are really, really great. If you guys, this slide is kind of small, so she also has on here sprouted, organic tofu, black beans, pinto beans, and lentils, kidney beans, chickpeas, frozen or steamed edamame, green peas, split peas, and buckwheat. I have a question on the chat, Mariam. Well, somebody wants to know, what about deer meat?
Again, any type of meat from a smaller animal is definitely a lot better than from cows. So definitely, if they are, if they did the hunting themselves, or if they know where the deer is from, then that's a lot better. Unfortunately, I don't want to say that because I don't want to see a poor deer killed. But yeah.
Okay, so you got a soft spot for Bambi. I get it.
Yeah. But definitely a lot better, yes.
If they hunted it themselves, it would be better than. I got it.
Just a general rule for meat. So if your diet does revolve around a lot of meat, just try to look for the ones that are pretty much hormone-free. Same thing with eggs. If you like eggs, make sure you do cage-free or pasture-fed eggs. I know that it can be a little bit more expensive, but if you, purchase a good quality meat, and if you cut it into thin strips, you make, chicken burritos, stir fries. If you add more vegetables to that dinner portion, then that meat will be sustainable and filling for you. Basically, the protein size, the meat size that you need, it's basically the size of your fist. So you don't need large portions of meat, and you can feed a family with smaller portions of steak and chicken and all of that stuff.
That's really good. I just got another question. This person says, what are some good breakfast foods if you're diabetic? Because we've been talking about, meat options and sugar and I guess a combination of things. So I just wanted to get this question out there really quick. I guess good breakfast options or healthy snacks for diabetics. With these things we're talking about, would this work? What would you recommend?
Absolutely. These would work wonderfully. One thing that I love for people who are diabetic is eggs in the morning. Basically, your morning breakfast should be a healthy type of protein and also a little bit of healthy fats. So definitely do a little bit of scrambled eggs, maybe some green beans, some steel-cut oatmeal with a little bit of fruit. Those are all fine, and they will not affect blood sugar levels.
Okay, very good. Very good. That's a great question. Thank you guys that are in the chat questioning and asking different questions. So let's move on to I think we're on rule number 5, and that is cut back on dairy.
Yes, another thing that people might be like, no, I need my cheese, but in all honesty, we do need to cut back on dairy. Dairy is one of the most acidic forms of food out there. It causes a lot of congestion and blockages in our body, and nowadays the type of dairy, it's so mass-produced, it's not great quality. There was an even article that I read that said cheese is kind of the nicotine of fast food now. So you just want to be aware of what type of dairy you're eating. Number one, I would say go with organic, and also go with whole milk products. Because whenever you're having whole milk products, the protein and the fat will work together, and the healthy fat in whole milk and whole dairy products will help break down the proteins. People have a lot of issues with digesting dairy. Also, if you love dairy, if you love milk, maybe look at nut milks instead of cow's milk, hemp milk, and almond milk. soy milk even. These all have the same amount of protein, calcium, and healthy fats. If you do love your cheese, I would say try goat cheese. Try goat's milk as well. The milk of goats is closer to human breast milk, so it's better digested in our body. You can find butter, yogurt, kefir, and cheese made out of goat milk, so definitely try those. Lastly, like I mentioned, cheese is extremely acidic to the body, so if you do love cheese, pick better quality cheese. The ones I would recommend would be mozzarella, provolone, Gouda, and Colby cheese, because these cheeses are washed in water while they're processed, so that reduces the acidity of them.
Wow. You never told me that before. I just don't get to eat as much cheese.
You want a no cheese diet.
Yeah, okay. That's not on my eating plan. Well, all of you should be very, very, you should feel very privileged that she's giving you cheeses to eat. I just got a chance to hear that, but that's awesome. I have to kind of stay away from the dairy. It makes me, it doesn't do well for me, so I kind of stay away from it. All right, so number 5, avoid high fructose corn syrup. Dun, dun, dun. We've all heard about it. Tell us why.
There is so much research linking it to obesity,
Oh, Mariam, we can't hear you. Something happened with your mic.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so basically, high fructose corn syrup is linked to obesity, metabolic syndrome, high cholesterol, IBS, and so much more. It's just extremely processed. It's a combination of glucose and fructose made in a lab. It's not natural at all. Your body does not recognize it. It's just horrible. It will make you pack on weight. I always say stay away.
Okay, so we just need to look for it in our, in our foods and just be aware of in the ingredients list. Basically, just look in the ingredients.
Just look in the ingredient list. Whatever is in the food has to be listed in the ingredients list. So don't read the front. Just look in the back and make sure that your product does not have high fructose corn syrup.
Okay, very good. And our last rule, because this is May Meal Month, how we're going to make healthy choices for the foods that we eat. Our last rule: avoid artificial sweeteners and reduce sugar consumption. This is back to the question we had earlier. Sugar is evil. Tell us what's up with that.
You know, Tamara, I remember when you and Carlandos came in during the first few sessions, we always had, talks about how about this, but in all honesty, artificial sweeteners are, again, kind of like the high fructose corn syrup. They don't do any good for our body. They're pretty much empty calories, and if you're going to eat something, you might as well make sure that the calorie has nutrients in it. So I always say avoid anything that has aspartame. Aspartame is basically known as NutraSweet. It is a horrible sweetener. You can find it in chewing gum, in yogurts, yogurts, and sodas and sport drinks. So just try to avoid it at all costs. And also, again, we mentioned the ingredient list. So if just read your ingredients. If the first 3 ingredients mention artificial sweeteners, just avoid that. You do not need to be eating it. Also, another thing is be careful of things that are called sugar-free. Anything that says sugar-free means there was a bunch of other chemicals added. So you kind of want to just avoid some catchphrases and marketing terms because, again, those are just marketing terms. I know that you're probably going to have a slide, but I want to mention the common names for sugar. It's everything from cane sugar to raw sugar to brown sugar, evaporated cane crystal, molasses, beet sugar. The list goes on. There's corn syrup, there's Equal, there's NutraSweet. Basically, these are all some names to look out for.
Mariam, that's really good. I just got a question from our chat room, and someone wants to know, they say, I use sugar in the raw. Is this okay?
This is what I like to say. Sugar is sugar is sugar. We have to try to cut back all types of sugar. Stevia, natural sugar, honey, all of that, because we just are overloaded with it. So that's a better option than white sugar. But again, try to limit the amount of sugar you're getting and replace it with natural things like fruit if you can.
I love it. I love it. It's a tough road. I mean, like she said, in our first few sessions, we were like, "What about this? What about that?" And I used to be a sugar in the raw girl too, and thought I was doing the better thing because it wasn't the white sugar, but still just making that change to now I use the liquid stevia. And the one thing I love about the liquid stevia is you need so little to get like sweetness. So
Yeah.
that's it blows my mind, just a couple drops, and I'm like, whoa, that's too much. So I would definitely encourage you guys to try liquid stevia. It will last you forever.
Forever, absolutely.
And I've got a question also, Mariam, that says, is this the priority? Stevia, then Splenda, then sugar?
No, no, no.
No. Okay.
Okay, so stevia and Splenda are two different things. Splenda is an artificial sweetener made in a lab, like a chemical lab. Stevia is derived from a natural plant that's been around for ages, I think from the Native American days. So it's basically from a leaf. Sorry, not a tea leaf. From a leaf. And Splenda is made in a chemical lab. So two different things. They both have this. They're both extremely strong in sweetness, but definitely will do different things to your body.
Got it. Got it. One is natural and one is not. Well, that, I believe, is the last rule that we had. On this information will be available, guys, if you weren't able to see all the rules. But these are the rules for healthy eating. And like I said, May is all about meal planning and making healthy choices. So if you kind of stick with these rules, Mariam, if those people that are wanting to lose weight, I feel like your rules will definitely help them, right?
Absolutely, because these are the basis for weight loss, actually. If you cut out all the processed sugar, if you cut out your dairy, if you cut out your, watch your protein intake, you can definitely lose a lot of weight by following these rules.
I love it. I love it. Well, I am going to say, oh, one more question. Sorry, I see another question from the chat room. This
Absolutely.
person wants to know, so is stevia in the packet okay? And I love this question because this is something Corlandos and I were going back and forth tug of war with Mariam on. Is the packet stevia okay? And she won this battle. So let's see what she says to you all tonight.
Wonderful. Again, I would pick the liquid stevia. It's less processed. The powdered stevia goes through a little bit more of a processing, so maybe try the liquid stevia instead. Plus, the liquid stevia has less of an aftertaste, so if you're new to the stevia world, maybe try a liquid one versus a powdered one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's really, it took me a second, but once I started using it, I don't like to go back to the packet at all. But the only way I use the packet is I keep a Ziploc in my purse. So sometimes when we're out eating somewhere and I want to have tea or coffee or something, I might put it in that. But I only use a portion of the packet. I can't even make myself use the whole stevia packet anymore. So yeah, I've kind of changed it up, and I love that. So, all right, I think that's all the questions we have, and that was all of the time we have. I know again, I want to thank you guys for hanging in there with me. We had some technical difficulties with Mariam hearing me and me hearing her, and us trying to get that all worked out. And I'm really, really passionate about you guys getting this information, but I'm still learning the whole technological end of all this stuff and webinars and how to set them up and webcams and all this good stuff. So I just want to thank you guys for hanging in there with us, those of you that have stuck around. At the very bottom, all of you that are on chat, at the very bottom, there is a link for you to subscribe and just kind of stay in tune and in touch with what we're doing with 30 for 30 and any webinars that we have going forward and any guests, and if we have Mariam back. But the last question I want to ask Mariam before I let her go is, Mariam, I know that you've been so helpful to me, and I'd love to ask you, I mean, do you take clients that are outside of the LA area? How does that work? And also, how can the people who are on tonight's webinar keep in touch with you?
Absolutely. Tamara, it's been such a pleasure being here. I had such a great time. You're doing such a wonderful thing for the community. Just love seeing how inspired you are. So I would love to come back for future seminars, but I absolutely do take clients that are not in LA. I work with people all over the U.S. through Skype or phone sessions. I'm available for weekly coaching. I'm here to answer all questions through email, so I'm very accessible. They can definitely email me or fill out, if somebody's interested, fill out a free 15-minute consultation form, and it's on my website, mariambandarian.com, and I'd be happy to work with anybody wherever they are.
mariambandarian.com. I'm going to put that in the chat link right now so you guys can go to her website. You should definitely sign up for her blog. I'm like, seriously, when I wasn't feeling well, I hadn't read the blog yet, and I was so mad because I think the blog had came out on a Friday, and I started feeling bad on a Saturday, and I didn't read it for a couple days. I was like, oh my God, if I had just read the blog, I could have had my juices by now. So her blog is super informative. I love it. Again, that's all we've got. Mariam, are there any closing words before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, just, I know this information can be overwhelming if you're new to leading a healthier lifestyle. Just pick a few tips from today's webinar and a few things at a time. Just keep a food journal. That way you'll be able to see exactly what you are eating, and it'll be easier to make dietary adjustments just by seeing the food you eat. So we're here to support you. If you have any other questions, please email me. I'd be happy to, answer your questions.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks, you guys. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe with the link below to stay in touch with 30 for 30. Share this, please. Share 30for30.org with your friends, with your family. We love to continue to build a community of helping one another live healthier, happier, more fit lives, because as Mariam said earlier, we can take control of our health and fitness. So above all things, I want to just quote a scripture that I love. In 3 John, it says, above all things, I wish that you prosper and be in health. You guys have a great night, and we're going to sign off. Bye.
Bye, everyone.